Run.
That's right, folks. Run. We are back with another problem with that. Today's problem with that, I put up using the Nazi debate, but comparing everything you hate to Nazis. See it everywhere. You ever notice that in modern arguments, especially online, the conversation goes from zero to Nazi in about 10 seconds? Someone disagrees with a policy, Nazi. A politician proposes a law you don't like, Nazi. Someone enforces a rule, suddenly they're compared to Hitler. And the problem with that is when every disagreement gets compared to the worst regime in modern history, the word itself starts to lose meaning. The Nazis weren't just people with bad opinions. They were a totalitarian regime responsible for one of the darkest chapters in human history. They crushed political opposition, controlled speech, and orchestrated the systematic murder of millions of innocent people during the Holocaust. That level of evil should mean something when we say it. But today the word gets tossed around so casually that it's practically become just another political insult. And when that happens, two serious problems start to appear. First, it cheapens history. The Holocaust wasn't a metaphor, it wasn't an exaggeration, it was real. Millions of people suffered and died under that regime. When people casually compare every disliked policy or political opponent to Nazis, turns one of the most horrific events in human history into nothing more than a talking point in an argument. Second problem is it destroys meaningful debate. The moment someone calls the other side a Nazi, conversation is over. There's no debate, there's no persuasion, and no attempt to understand the other side. Instead of discussing ideas, we just jump straight to outrage. Now, history absolutely matters. Sometimes there are legitimate warnings about authoritarian behavior or extreme ideology. But those warnings only work if we use them carefully. If every rule is fascism, if every politician is Hitler, if every disagreement is Nazism, in real history, comparisons stop carrying weight. And that's dangerous. Because when language loses meaning, society loses one of its most important tools for recognizing real problems. Not every bad policy is tyranny. Not every strict rule is authoritarianism. But not every person you disagree with is a Nazi. We can argue strongly. We can debate passionately. That's part of living in a free society. But when every disagreement turns into the most extreme comparison imaginable, we stop having real conversation and start performing outrage. And outrage might get attention, but it rarely produces understanding. And the problem with that is when the strongest accusations in history get used for everything, they stop meaning anything, right when we might actually need them the most.
Run.